Hello and welcome to the Building Utopia competition, brought to you by Lenovo, NVIDIA, Chaos Group, Kitbash 3D, and CG Architect. What you're looking at here is a large city that has been assembled and created using the kits from Kitbash 3D. This is their Utopia kit along with some elements of their high-tech streets. What we're also doing is we've assembled all this along with all of these trees inside of Chaos Group's brand new package, Vantage, which is a real-time ray tracer. It allows you to look at scenes with fully ray traced scenes. This is not rasterization on top, this is fully ray traced. And that's what is allowing us to look at all of this detail, including all of these trees. And we're looking at over 430 billion polygons. What we're doing, because we created this, we thought this is a really cool tool. We'd love to see what you can do with it and decided to create this competition. What it is basically you have 5 islands here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you notice the middle island is empty. That is where the competition begins. We would like you guys to populate this island however you see fit. We'll provide you with some assets from the Kitbash kit if you'd like to use those, or you can create your own. And once you've done that, you'll come back into Vantage and we'll be able to create an animation, which I'll show you guys how to do very quickly. And that animation, you can do several shots, you can do whatever you do, you can edit it together any way you want to do it. But basically we're looking at 30 to 60 seconds of animation that you can showcase your story, your shots, anything you'd like to do to tell us what you can do inside of Vantage. It's really up to you guys to tell us what to do. All right, that being said, let's get started and show you how to get started on this competition with Vantage. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to the buildingutopia.cgarchitect.com site. That is where you start the competition. Then when you get there, hit the Get Started button right here. This will give you instructions. The first thing you're going to need is you're going to need an NVIDIA video card. We recommend the NVIDIA RTX 2080 or better, but you can actually get it to work with older cards. It's just going to be slower. We do recommend at least having 8 gigs of video memory to work within this scene. The rest of the requirements are listed down here and are fairly straightforward. To get Vantage, you'll just go to this link here, and that will take you directly to the download page to be able to download Vantage and install it on your computer. The next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to download the kit that we have provided for this competition, and that's by clicking on this link here. So let's go ahead and look at what this content actually has. Once you've downloaded it, you'll see that you have several things in here. The first one is the Kitbash 3D Start. We have that in a Max scene as well as a VR scene, and we'll explain in a second what that is. This is the starting scene. This has the whole city and everything with the blank island that you can populate. We've also provided this assets, which is all the assets that Kitbash 3D is giving you guys that you can use if you choose to. You can use your own assets if you'd like to, but they've provided these assets for you guys to start assembling as well. Again, this is also in a Max format as well as a VR scene file, as well as all the textures necessary for these files. Make sure that this directory is in the same directory as these as your assets as you go, because that is how it's going to link to find these textures. We've also provided some HDRs in here in case you guys want to use different HDRs. The reason we've provided these VR scene files is that is how you actually load the scene files into Vantage. So let's see how we get our assets from Max into Vantage. We'll start with the assets that were provided to us by the Kitbash 3D guys. Okay, so now we're in 3ds Max and we've opened up the asset file. This includes 3 parts. This is the Utopia set right here, which you can see from these large buildings and some street level stuff here. We also have these little elements here. Those are actually trees. Those are 6 of the trees that are provided, and you can continue to use these to scatter them across the model. And we've also provided this element here, which is the parts of the high-tech streets. And it includes the monorail, some street level stuff, and other things that you may want to use. This is not the entire high-tech streets. If you want the entire high-tech street kit, you can go to Kitbash 3D and purchase that on your own. Okay, so let's see if we want to bring in one of these buildings into our Vantage scene. Let's click on this building right here, for example. Once you've selected it, the way to export it is to right-click and go to VR Scene Exporter. It'll bring up this dialog right here. One of the things you want to do is export selected only. When you export selected only, it'll only export that one building and not the entire set. You can strip paths if you want to. You can even export animation. Let's say you've created a model and it had some animation in it. As long as it is not deforming geometry, if it's just something moving across the screen, like the monorail, for example, or a car, you can export that as an animation and it'll actually come in as an animation inside of Vantage, which is really great. But for this building, we don't have any animation, so I'm just going to ignore that part. I'm going to go ahead and hit export, and it'll export the VR scene file where you have selected. Now let's go back to Vantage and drop our building into our scene. And it's pretty straightforward. Open up the File Explorer, go to where you saved the file, and just drop it in here. And you'll see the little arrow that places it where it is. And it'll say if you want to open it. If you open it, you replace this whole scene. You can merge it in without placing it, or you can place it. And we're going to go ahead and place it. You can see it came right in exactly where I wanted it to be. You can actually go in now and you can move it around and place it anywhere you want. You can scale it, rotate it, etc., etc. All of the different normal things that you would want to do. Okay, so here I am back in Vantage, and what I want to show you guys is how to do an animation of a camera move. So the first thing you need to do is you need to set your in point and your out point of your camera. Right now I'm at this monorail station and I want to do a crane shot moving up, so I have to move my camera in this area. Now I could use the traditional way of holding the Alt key and try to move myself precisely there, but another good way to do precision movements is to actually use this little free look tool, which is the little man walking here, and you can actually go in here and then you can use your ASD keys just like in a video game and move to the place where you want to be. So for me, I'm actually going to try to move right under the monorail station, and I'm going to try to do a crane shot looking up as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and move my camera here. I'm going to do right about here, and I'm going to start looking up like that. And I'm going to try to do a movement looking up. So I'm going to hit escape, and I'm going to go ahead and save that camera. And I do that by clicking on this save camera. And that's the first camera that's going to be. And what I'm going to transition to is I'll go back to my free look tool here. And I'm going to crane up like this. And I'm going to sort of find my end position that I want to be. And there you go. It's going to look like that. And I'm going to save that as a second camera. And you'll see also that my trains are moving. So I actually have animation of these monorails moving, and a bunch of other things are moving in the background, which is kind of fun. So I'm going to do that. And so what I do is I do my start position and my end position. In order to do this animation, what you do is you actually click on the animation editor here, which is the little clapper button. And you'll start with your start position here, and then you'll do your end position here. And you click on your start position, and you right click and you do add transition after. And that will allow this transition to happen. Now what happens is the camera will hold on this, transition linearly to this, and go here. What we really want is to have the transition, this be much shorter, and that transition to actually have eases in it. So if you right click on the transition, you can do eases in and out. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten that substantially, and I'm going to go ahead and extend this shot to the end here. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it'll give me a nice ease in and out. Okay, so let's look at what that looks like in our animation here. See, the trains are moving, and the crane is moving up. It's exactly the movement I want. Perfect. So let's go ahead and show you how we save this as an animation. So the first thing I like to do when I do a final animation is I actually turn the denoiser off. That'll give you better overall quality for the final images. So then you click on the teapot here, and it'll give you your resolution. Here it's 3840 by 2160, which is 4K, and you can set your samples, and the samples is set to 100. You can actually go higher if you want to, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it at those defaults. And then when you hit start, you're doing it as a PNG sequence here. So I'm just going to do anim 01, and then when I hit save, it'll start rendering. So hopefully that is helpful for you guys. There's a lot more that you can learn inside of Vantage. There's a lot of things that you can see. So make sure you go to chaosgroup.com and go to our Vantage page to see all of the other features that are available in this great package. We'd love to see what you can do with it. Good luck with the competition. We can't wait to see all the wonderful creations that you guys create. Good luck to everyone.